Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. I want to send double honor to my elders, apostles, and bishops at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and safety is to the hopeful elect Akim out there doing this work. Much love to the scattered elect and to the few sincere women that subscribe to the true doctrine. This the brother you call Amath with the Great Millstone Camp, the branch out here in Omaha, Nebraska. Coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, to feed and to edify the lost sheep of the nation of Israel through the Holy Spirit, Racha HaKodash. And the Israelites consist of the so-called Negroes, the so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans by the seed of your father, no matter what you may look like. And I want to get into this lesson. Essentially, it's a land back video off of one of the brothers here in the camp, the brother Yatazak Ba. And the name of his YouTube channel is GMS Endeavor, which I'll post. Well, I posted the link or the video on in the community section, but I'll also leave the link in the description. We know what the brother was going into. Almost like a testimony type deal, whereas no matter what you're going through, we got to put the Lord first. And as I'm listening to the brother's video, it sparked. Influence this lesson, and I'm going to title this, Satan Wants a Reaction. As the brother was kind of speaking on, how there's going to be things that's going to be happening to us, whether we get shipwrecked or, lose a job, or a woman leaves us, or our kids despise us, or whatever. Is Satan wants a reaction, whether that be you going off the deep end with your emotions, or, putting the Lord second, and finding a different way to alleviate that pain from losing something, all right? Turning to drugs or turning to alcohol, whatever. Satan wants a reaction like that. But our mind has to be set on Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and and I wanted to start off with this precept here in the book of Psalms, 119 and 110. All right, it says, "The wicked have laid a snare for me, yet I erred not from thy precepts." Because at the end of the day, that is Satan's job. Just like going back into to Job, man. Where he said, when the Most High asked him, when the sons of man came before him, he said, he asked Satan, where you been? And Satan said, walking to and fro throughout the earth. And what is he doing walking to and fro throughout the earth? At the end of the day, he's disrupting somebody's harmony, somebody's peace of mind. Okay? And how do we know that? Based off of the situation with Job, man. Where Satan was given permission to mess with Job, just not to kill him. And he said, what the Most High say? He said, "Job, I curse thee to thy face." Because the Most High know his men. He know that Job ain't going to turn from the Most High. He know that Job is going to stand 10 toes down for Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. No matter what came upon Job, he proved that. So the same with us. We can't give Satan no reaction, man. We got to just deal with it. Because this is not, for us, let's get that in the Apocrypha. This is not the place for us where much glory doth abide. Okay? It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7, and verse 42. "He answered me and said, This present life is not the end where much glory doth abide. Therefore have they prayed for the weak." So there's no glory here for us in the first place. All right? What we deserve to go through right now is shame because of our disobedience unto the Lord, man. Us, having car issues or woman issues, maybe a death in the family, or losing our job, whatever. The Most High, he knows that we are but flesh, and he knows that there's going to be some type of feeling that's attached to that within us because of the flesh. But the Most High, once again, as I mentioned, he tries us, right? Sirach 2 and verse 4, right? It says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, right? And, it's, hey, like the book of Romans, the 5th chapter says that we glory in tribulation. Why? Because this ultimately refines us and makes us better men, all right? The things that we go through are supposed to be learning experiences, and the goal is to burn off the impurities that comes with the chastisement. All right. So it says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Like, okay, I caught a flat tire. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not despising the Lord behind it. I'm not like, man, why me? None of that, man. Let's see what that word cheerful. I know it's a very easy word to comprehend, but let's actually get it in the Etam online. Cheerfully, or cheerful, from Circa 1400 says full of cheer, having good spirits, elevating the spirits. And that's beautiful. It says having good spirits, and why we have good spirits in the midst of tribulation is because we understand why we're going through it. We understand that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai was going to, it says that he chastises those whom he loves. All right? The men of the Lord was always chastised. They was always put through some type of challenge, so to speak. Abraham was a perfect example. All right? Daniel in the lion's den. They were in the lion's den, and they were in the fiery furnace, man. Remained calm, knew that it was a time of trouble, but they dealt with it. They overcame it, and they were in good spirits because they knew who their power was. We know who our power is. So Satan, we can't give that nigga no reaction, man. The minute we give him a reaction, he feeds off of it. And you know what happens when he feeds off of it? He becomes stronger and stronger. Okay? Like I spoke about in the gospel, we spoke about the 7 unclean spirits. They go and grab one. Not the 7 unclean spirits, but the unclean spirit that leaveth the house, and when he cometh back, he come with pretty much with his posse. He come back with other spirits stronger than himself. Ultimately, the way that those spirits are able to infiltrate us is if we're lacking in faith. And if we're not doing the things that Yahweh Shai ordained us to do, thereby leaving us wide open for this attack of Satan. Right? So, we can't give this nigga no reaction. We can't give this nigga no power, man. While we're in the world, he had that power over us, and that's going into the book of Romans, the 6th chapter. Let's see. We can't let evil have dominion over us, man. Right? Let's see if I can find that precept. I was looking at it earlier. This is Romans 6 and verse 13. It says, let's start at 12. It says, let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that ye should obey it in the lust thereof. Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto the Most High. And the elder went over this today, that yielding going into to giving yourself over to submitting. Okay? And we can't give ourselves over to what Satan wants, man. We did that already. When we're in the world, our members were submersed in sin. Okay? Doing whatever it is under the sun that we were doing, whether that was eating abominable things, committing adultery, stealing, smoking, celebrating these holidays, whatever, what the things that the Lord despised. That was that sin that had us in subjection, man. It says, but yield yourselves unto the Most High as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto the Most High. So whatever happens to us, man, it is what it is. But we're going to keep the Lord Yahweh Shai on our mind. As I brought out in the book of Psalms, excuse me, 119. Let's actually pull that up again, and I'll get another precept, and then we're going to wrap it up. This is Psalms 119 and verse 110. Oh, shit, got to scroll. Psalms 119 and 110. The wicked have laid a snare for me. All right? Yet I erred not from thy precepts. So no matter what Satan throws at us, we ain't going to leave the precepts of Yahweh Shema Shai, because this is our foundation. You know, we get weak. We have our moments, man, to where, you know, that Satan will get the best of us, or I'll say the spirit of doubt or the spirit of worry will get the best of us. But we got Yahweh Shema Shai as our fortress, man. So we have to keep that in mind, whatever it is that we're going through. All right. Let's get back to the Sirach 2. Finish that. Just back in Sirach 2 and verse 4, it says, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And we're built for this, man. The Most High ain't calling no, just to say it frankly, excuse my French, but the Most High ain't calling no punk ass niggas, man. He called soldiers into this thing. He called men into this thing. All right. And, you know, we are to, you know, we say that we're of the hopeful elect, you know, which, Lord willing, we are. But with that comes, you know, understanding that the Most High ain't calling no bitch ass niggas, man. Once we keep that in mind and we do what the Lord said to do, man, we'll be so much better off. All right. It says, believe in him and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. So no matter what's going on, as long as we doing what the Lord said, it says, believe in him and he will help thee. All right. Which means what? To trust in him wholeheartedly, fully, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright and trust in him. Meaning we need to be on the straight and narrow, making sure that we're doing things that are pleasing unto the Lord. And we ought to, because it says in Baruch, the 4th chapter, that the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us being the Israelites. So, you know, when we're going through things, don't fret, don't worry. You know, we deal with things in this flesh, and it's not going to be easy just to shake everything off. Some shit will bother us, man. But at the end of the day, Yahweh Shema Shai is our fortress, and he is the one that's going to help us out, okay? As long as we trust in him. So, you know, with that being said, I'm going to leave it there, man. Just wanted to land back off of that video, and I pray this was edifying, you know. So with that being said, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachah Kodash. Double honor to the elders, apostles, and bishops at Great Millstone. Peace, love, and safety is to the elect. Shalom.